make a crescendo on the one note, on the C. That's it. Oh. You make your life unnecessarily difficult if you don't play the chord before that really full. This is not full enough.
You mean
Here.
the
This is why you play this. You have to do. That's it. I think once you hit the fortissimo, you must have a tempo there. You can play the upbeat if you want a little free. But once you get this is also a rhythmical structure. I don't think you can go little three. Keep the tempo now. One, two. Yeah. I'm not trying to put you in a straitjacket, but I'm trying to remind you of what the pulse is that you created. If you don't have strictness with syncopations, the syncopations lose their nature. The syncopation is a syncopation in relation to the rhythm. And therefore, if that is free, the syncopation loses its strength. But this, of course, you can take the time. Okay?
This belongs to a new paragraph.
Yes.
Here.
There's a new paragraph which is going to lead you into this, to the major. So you need a completely different world from what comes before and from what comes afterwards. And you know, I think when you play, listen. This is what we need to hear. You know, the resolution of the tension as the principle of legato means two things. One, of course, that there is no hole, that it is bound. As you know, legato means in Italian bound. It is bound in the sense that there is no hole, but it is also bound in the connection of the quality of the quantity of sound as well. In other words, when you resolve it, you must resolve it not in accordance with the beginning of the previous note, but in accordance with the end. And if you play, even though it is bound in the sense that there is no hole, because there is no connection in the quantity of the sound, there is a bump. So I think you must play this a little fuller, the chord, and listen before you play the resolution. Listen at what point. That's it. Now comes a transformation. Commentary. Again. Commentary. You must always have a complete independence of what is the statement and what is the commentary. It is not. You need three. Tari, 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 tari. That's it.
Same thing.
No. This is the extraordinary thing. You are basically here where you are here, except for the diminished note. In other words, you could almost be... and make all this section unnecessary. That section is there in order to prepare the change from the minor to the major. This is why this is not too soft and little. But now you start going down.
And then this is kind of connect.
And you're connecting. And you've made one big transition. And the importance of the transition is not only that it serves as a link between one section and the other, is that it determines the character of the next section. The character. If, in other words, if all this did not exist, if we would rewrite it and simply go, okay, we would have not all this transition that has given us a completely different sound world. Not only in the sense that it is minor, that it has an expressive motive. Here, him. The character of this, of course, is determined by the fact that it is harmonically very simple, and it is determined by the fact that it is continuous sound. The expression of this is in the interruption. You know, it's like when you're in a situation where you want to say something, and either you don't want to say it straight away, or you don't know quite how you say it, so you say a little bit here, and park here. And then finally you get to the situation where your thoughts are organized, and now you say the whole thing. This is what this is, this kind of a transition. Maybe once more. Yeah. It's too dry. This is... It's too soft. You have to go. Don't forget, look. Only here there is no tension. Harmonically. This is a surge, and now you found it. So don't get too soft too soon. Yes. couple of things I want to say. When you've reached that, when you get there, you must play as if this music has been there all the time. It doesn't start, but it has been there, and now we notice it. Make sure you don't start. It's already there, and I think for what you want to play the phrase, maybe you start a little bit too loud. Out of this depth of the texture, also so low in the piano.
This should be like pianissimo.
Piano, dolce, and also make sure when you play a figure like this with long notes and short notes, that the short notes are not louder. They tend to be louder, and they sound accidental. Keep going. No, we're not there. No, subito. You cheat, you must play the left hand. That's right, the crescendo in the left hand to the end. That's right. You must always remember, it requires an element of courage to play a crescendo to the end before a subito piano. It takes you the courage to go to the end before you get softer, and not to round it up and get softer at the last moment. Okay, maybe once more, just around there. Maybe if you can play the repeated notes a little drier, then you will get. But when you repeat a figure, we're changing the harmony, and you cannot change the tempo, otherwise we don't notice the similarity, and we don't notice the repeat. And listen. Then you can take time, if you want, and then, like since we are here, when you are here, don't give away. You must think long term. That's what I meant to tell you strategically. Don't give away this pianissimo. You play this pianissimo beautifully, but you mustn't give it away. It's only piano.
That's right.
The pianissimo is only there, so that you know. You must miss a breath there because of that. It's a sudden change. It's not something that has been there earlier.
Expected. Yeah.
Il y a une étude qui est sortie il n'y a pas longtemps du Boston Consulting Group qui montre que si 84% des dirigeants d'entreprise, des cadres dirigeants ont pris conscience que l'IA leur donnerait un avantage compétitif, seulement 38% d'entre eux ont une stratégie en place. Ça montre qu'il y a un grand écart entre ce que les entreprises veulent faire aujourd'hui et ce qu'elles sont capables de faire. Je pense qu'il faudra bien de 5 à 10 ans, peut-être plus, pour que la plupart des entreprises adoptent des solutions d'IA. Certaines n'y arriveront pas. Je pense que certaines entreprises mourront pour ne pas avoir adopté ces solutions à temps. Le logiciel doit devenir, entre guillemets, intelligent et doit à la fois prédire et prescrire quelles sont les meilleures actions à mener pour les utilisateurs. On est clairement à l'aube d'une révolution dans notre industrie, qui est l'industrie de l'édition de logiciels, puisqu'un logiciel
doit maintenant proposer une valeur ajoutée supplémentaire à ses utilisateurs. On ne fera plus jamais du logiciel convaincant.
L'intelligence artificielle, ça nous conduit à nous projeter vers un concept qu'on connaissait peu jusqu'à présent, qui est tout ce qui est cognitif, c'est-à-dire se mettre en capacité d'apprendre plus vite avec toutes les informations que nous véhiculons, que nous portons, que nous transportons et que nous gérons, plus vite que ce que l'intelligence humaine a la capacité de faire.
Eh bien, en fait, ça donne tout simplement à nos clients la capacité à prendre des décisions sur un panorama et sur une perception de leur environnement qu'ils n'ont jamais eu. L'exhaustivité de l'accès à l'information, plus les traitements intelligents qui sont passés sur ces volumes de données très importants, leur permettent d'aller détecter des règles jusque-là invisibles, vont leur permettre de détecter des liens de corrélation entre les données et vont leur permettre de contextualiser la donnée pour véritablement la transformer en information. C'est ce fameux Graal de la transformation de la donnée en information.
Donc, d'améliorer la fluidité et d'industrialiser un peu plus des travaux qui jusqu'à présent ne pouvaient pas forcément l'être. Alors, ça ne veut
Здравствуйте, дорогие друзья! Сейчас я покажу, как можно заработать 1500 рублей буквально за 2 минуты сразу на свою банковскую карту.
70 agriculteurs ont été tués samedi par des membres présumés du groupe Boko Haram. Cela s'est passé dans le nord-est du pays, dans l'état du Borno, le jour des premières élections locales organisées depuis le début de l'insurrection djihadiste en 2009. Éléonore Vanel.
Une cérémonie funéraire suivie par des centaines de Nigérians pour les 43 agriculteurs tués alors qu'ils travaillaient dans une rizière. L'attaque a eu lieu à moins de 10 km de Maïdougouri, dans le nord-est du pays, une région régulièrement frappée par des attaques djihadistes. Le mois dernier, dans cette même zone, 22 ouvriers agricoles avaient déjà été assassinés.
A bana dai mun samu sauƙin matsala to banan kawai suka zo suka hau mu da wannan wallahi ba mun taɓa ganin irin wannan jarabta ba yanzu ga mutum 43 an yi jana'izan su kun gani da idon ku a yanzu haka ana gaya mana cewa akwai sauran wanda ba a ɗauko ba a jeji saboda haka wannan abun wallahi ya tayar da hankalinmu.
Selon la milice locale, une dizaine d'agriculteurs sont aussi portés disparus, probablement kidnappés. Boko Haram est désigné comme responsable de l'attaque. Ce samedi marquait les premières élections locales organisées depuis le début de l'insurrection djihadiste en 2009. Les habitants votaient pour les conseillers régionaux des 27 circonscriptions de l'État du Borno. Le scrutin avait été repoussé à plusieurs reprises depuis 2008 à cause de la multiplication des attaques menées par Boko Haram et sa faction rivale, le groupe État islamique en Afrique de l'Ouest.
We shall ensure recruitment of more civilians, yet more hunters, so that our people will take the fight to all the nook and crannies of this area.
Cette dernière décennie, le conflit dans la région a entraîné le déplacement d'environ 2 millions de personnes. Plus de 36 000 habitants ont perdu la vie.
Et on en vient à ce dimanche meurtrier dans la province de Rasni, centre de l'Afghanistan. Au moins 30 membres des forces de sécurité ont péri dans un attentat à la voiture piégée. Elle a visé un site des forces de la protection publique. L'attentat n'a pas été revendiqué. On sait que la région est le théâtre de combats fréquents entre les forces afghanes et les talibans. Ils se sont intensifiés malgré les pourparlers de paix.
Рекламировать себя надо, ну нет, наоборот, надо было забрать начало теперь, наоборот. Ну нет, наоборот, нет. Да нет, плохо играл, просто играть, он плохо. Да нет. При чем здесь это? Играл просто. Смотри, там было охрана. Значит, сейчас повспоминай, так это... Слушай, 3 года назад было вообще по-другому. Сейчас я на пианиста похож, какой умею. Раньше я помню. Ну, он о себе так говорил просто, да. Ну да, вот это имеешь в виду. Ну, да. Видно тебя. Ну да. PCC дыры. А про вас? Даже, слушай, незаметно, что подгорело как-то, я думал, здесь выяснится. Ну, короче, что вот сейчас, вот следующая неделя, вот понедельник. До декабря ждать, говорит, какого декабря? Выходит, сейчас надо устраиваться, говорит, потому что пищевод, куда? Пищевод, но мне это
Les mémoires de Barack Obama en tête des ventes de livres, les chefs confinés mais solidaires et Matisse à l'honneur au Centre Pompidou. C'est le programme de ce nouveau numéro de À l'affiche. Bienvenue à tous. Et d'abord, c'est donc un carton plein pour le livre de l'ancien président américain Barack Obama, Une terre promise, sorti le 17 novembre dernier, et déjà un best-seller. Aux États-Unis, près de 890 000 exemplaires ont été vendus le premier jour. La version française de l'ouvrage, édité par Fayard, a déjà été réimprimée 2 fois et est en tête des ventes en ligne.
I want to tell a more personal story that might inspire young people considering a life of public service.
800 pages, publiées dans 23 pays, traduites en finnois ou en vietnamien. Les mémoires de Barack Obama ressemblent au lancement d'une super production hollywoodienne, avec sa propre bande-annonce sur les réseaux sociaux. En 2017, l'éditeur américain Crown a négocié avec les époux Obama un montant record de près de 60 millions d'euros en échange de leurs mémoires. Presque 4 ans plus tard, les premiers exemplaires sont enfin arrivés en librairie. De quoi redonner le sourire à ces commerces fortement impactés par la pandémie de Covid-19.
Ce genre de livre attire une clientèle très large et financièrement, ça va nous aider dans cette période compliquée. Ça va être le livre de l'année et notamment de la période des fêtes.
Barack Obama y raconte ses années d'université à Columbia quand il entendait le cliquetis des verrouillages de voitures, quand lui, l'étudiant noir, marchait dans la rue. Il raconte aussi comment, devenu président, il doit justifier son acte de naissance à Hawaï et affronter une campagne mettant en doute sa citoyenneté, lancée par un certain Donald Trump.
Chaque président a été soumis à une norme différente par rapport à ce précédent. Je pense que Donald Trump a enfreint tant de normes, tant d'hypothèses de base sur ce qu'un président devrait ou ne devrait pas faire, que vous ne pouvez pas trouver de comportement comparable dans le passé.
Autre moment phare de sa présidence décrit dans le livre la nuit du 1er au 2 mai 2011, celle où il donne l'ordre de l'assaut sur la maison d'Oussama Ben Laden au Pakistan, contre l'avis de son vice-président Joe Biden. C'est à cette date, en 2011, que s'arrête le premier tome des mémoires de Barack Obama. La suite est encore à venir.
On continue avec l'initiative Les cuisines solidaires. Mise à la peine par la crise sanitaire, certains chefs ne raccrochent pas pour autant la toque et cuisinent pour les plus démunis. Déjà, lors du premier confinement, 20 000 repas avaient été servis. Ils sont de retour avec un pari encore plus ambitieux. Julie Dungeloff s'est faufilée en cuisine dans un restaurant du 16e arrondissement de Paris.
Comme tous les restaurants de France, cette brasserie parisienne a une nouvelle fois dû tirer le rideau. Pourtant, dans ses cuisines, une douzaine de chefs affaires. Tous ont répondu à l'appel de l'association caritative La Tablée des Chefs. Objectif, récupérer les invendus et des dons pour fournir 30...
This course is unique. It goes from basic principles all the way to the most advanced techniques in data science. The idea is to walk out of this course with a
Dear fellow scholars, this is not 2-minute papers with Dr. Károly Zsolnai Fehér. Due to popular demand, this is a surprise video with the talk of our new paper that we just published. This was the third and last paper in my PhD thesis, and hence this is going to be a one-off video that is longer and a tiny bit more technical. I am keenly aware of it, but I hope you'll enjoy it. Let me know in the comments when you have finished the video. And worry not, all the upcoming videos are going to be in the usual 2-minute papers format. The paper and the source code are all available in the video description. And now, let's dive in. In a previous paper, our goal was to populate this scene with over 100 materials with a learning-based technique and create a beautiful planet with rich vegetation. The results looked like this. One of the key elements to accomplish this was to use a neuro-renderer, or in other words, a decoder network that you see here, which took a material's shader description as an input and predicted its appearance, thereby replacing the renderer we used in the project. It had its own limitations. For instance, it was limited to this scene with a fixed lighting setup, and only the material properties were subject to change. But, in return, it mimicked the global illumination renderer rapidly and faithfully. And in this new work, our goal was to take a different vantage point and help artists with general image processing knowledge to perform material synthesis. Now, this sounds a little nebulous, so let me explain. One of the key ideas is to achieve this with a system that is meant to take images from its own renderer, like the ones you see here. But, of course, we produce these ourselves, so obviously we know how to do it, so this is not very useful yet. However, the twist is that we only start out with an image of this source material and then load it into a raster image editing program like Photoshop and edit it to our liking and just pretend that this is achievable with our renderer. As you see, many of these target images in the middle are results of poorly executed edits. For instance, the stitched specular highlight in the first example isn't very well done, and neither is the background of the gold target image in the middle. However, in the next step, our method proceeds to find a photorealistic material description that, when rendered, resembles this target image and works well even in the presence of these poorly executed edits. The whole process executes in 20 seconds. To produce a mathematical formulation for this problem, we started with this. We have an input image T and edit it to our liking to get the target image T with a tilde. Now, we are looking for a shader parameter set X that, when rendered with the phi operator, approximates the edited image. The constraint below stipulates that we would remain 0 and 1, proper indices of refraction, and so on. So, how do we deal with phi? We use the previously mentioned neuro-renderer to implement it, otherwise this optimization process would take 25 hours. Later, we made an equivalent, unconstrained reformulation of this neuro-renderer to implement it, otherwise this optimization process would take mentioned neuro-renderer to implement it, otherwise this optimization process would take 25 hours. Later, we made an equivalent, unconstrained reformulation of this problem to be able to accommodate a greater set of optimizers. This all sounds great on paper and works reasonably well for materials that can be exactly matched with this shader, like this one. This optimizer-based solution can achieve it reasonably well. But, unfortunately, for more challenging cases, as you see the target image on the lower right, the optimizer's output leaves much to be desired. Note again that the result on the upper right is achievable with the shader, while the lower right is a challenging, imaginary material that we are trying to achieve. The fact that this is quite difficult is not a surprise because we have a nonlinear and non-convex optimization problem.
Good evening, I'm Stephanie Rule, and this is Bouncing Back. We all know that businesses across America have taken a beating because of this pandemic. From widespread closures in the spring, to lack of funding, to potentially more closures on the horizon. But not all hope is lost. Throughout this time, some small businesses have figured out how to survive and even thrive. Since May, I've been working with Janine Cook, a Philadelphia-based bookseller, as she navigates how to grow her new business and handle a pandemic all at the same time. Here's Janine's story. Across the country, economic uncertainty, the coronavirus pandemic putting America on pause. Millions laid off, furloughed, or struggling to keep their businesses alive. Their financial futures at risk. People like Janine Cook, a bookshop owner in Philadelphia, fighting to keep her small business going after opening just before the crisis hit. For the last 6 months, I've been working with Janine to figure out how to navigate this new normal, rebuild, and find a path to financial recovery. This is Harriet's Bookshop in Philadelphia. 36-year-old Janine Cook built this business from scratch, hoping to create a space where the community could celebrate female authors, artists, and activists.
You know, it was a big deal, like a woman my age, a woman in my position, a single mother, was starting a business that I believe has been, you know, necessary and missing from our community.
But this wasn't her first try at becoming a small business owner.
I had a building probably about 4 or 5 blocks down from where I am now. I mean, the day before we were going to announce that renovations were over, there was a fire in that space, and it took me a good minute to recover.
She finally opened her doors in the new space this February.
We had an amazing opening, right? Like many people throughout the city came. People came from Jersey, Delaware.
But the shop's success was short-lived. Just 6 weeks later, Janine had to close her doors like millions of other businesses across the country. Have you been able to go on to convert your business online? Are you doing anything virtually?
Yeah, through our website, you can get to the collection, you can purchase books. And the distributors are shipping the books directly from the distributors.
And she's been forced to get creative.
We've been doing sidewalk sales and we've been doing contactless pickup in addition to shipping orders.
But it hasn't been easy.
Somebody just messaged me saying they want a full refund because their books never came or whatever. And I know that they were shipped.
Despite the struggle, she made time to give back in the middle of this crisis, starting a program called Essentials for Essentials, which lets customers buy books for local healthcare workers.
We were able to get a whole lot of essential workers books and got a lot of thank yous and built some relationships, and that's what, you know, we're here for.
But that didn't stop the bills from piling up. Rent, internet, paying back book vendors, and government assistance was difficult to secure.
I'm a new business, so the PPP doesn't really apply to us, right? I don't have any employees, so it doesn't really apply to me. I did get that one grant from the city that will cover 1 month's rent.
Are you opening all the bills that you have right now, or are you avoiding them?
Oh, I'm not looking at this. I don't want to look at that.
The last thing we want is for this business to go away. But you know what I don't want more than that? I don't want you to lose your business, and I don't want you to lose your personal security. You are a female, African-American run business. There are programs out there for you. We just have to find them.
I feel embarrassed. You know what I mean? Like, oh, why don't you know this? I don't know. Where was I supposed to learn it?
But here's the thing. It's okay if you don't know. This is your business. And right now we're in survival. And it's also your family. Okay? And there are more creditors out there giving relief right now than ever before in your and my lifetime. So I gave her some homework. With some simple steps, I'll help Janine get back on track. But listen closely. These can help your personal finances at home, too. Take stock in every bill. I want you in the next week, in the next day, when you go home tonight, I want you to open every single piece of mail you have. Every bill, you know it's there. Okay. And I want you to create two piles, personal and work. Ask for help. I want you to just call everyone you owe and say, here's my situation. Are you offering any relief? Can I pay a lower minimum? Can I have an extension? And just see what they say. We're gonna start to take those bills and prioritize what we pay first. Get personal. Every customer you've had, every person whose interest, I want you to get their email addresses. And you need to have a distribution list for the store. Okay. And I want you to start Instagram Live with Janine from Harriet's Books, Thursdays at 5 o'clock. This Thursday, you're gonna be sharing your story and your favorite story. Okay. People trust relationships more than they trust information. Give us the opportunity to have a relationship with you. Customers will come to you. They will care about you.
And I think, I mean, the people that we've met so far have definitely shown us lots of love, but I think that, you know, being a little voice in a big city, you know, it's not as easy to get it all out there, but, you know, this is a way to do so. So I'm gonna do it.
Let's become a bigger voice. Clearly, Janine had some work to do. She had the ideas and the drive, but she needed a hand with logistics, especially keeping up with her bills. So after a few weeks, I headed to Philly for an in-person update.
When you and I last spoke, I pushed you. I said, you've got to up your Instagram game, your social media game. Yeah. And now this week, look at people like Usher tagging your bookshop.
I think we've had an increase of, it's like 15,000 new followers in the last 3 days.
And you did your first Instagram live book reading.
Yep.
How did it go?
It went amazing.
I'm about to go live in about 5 minutes. I am not excited about that, actually. I'm actually a little bit terrified.
We gave away 3, so I invested 3. We ended up selling, you know, 100, right?
Get out.
No, really. And so I called.
You gave away 3 and you sold 100?
Kylie Reed, who's the author of Such a Fun Age, which is the book we were giving away, she ended up coming on the live, which we had no idea. We didn't plan that or anything. She ended up doing another giveaway, and she bought those books for her giveaway through Harriet's Bookshop.
This is absolutely extraordinary. I met Janine of Harriet's Books just a few weeks ago, and when I met her, it was really a tragic story. A female entrepreneur starting this bookstore in the name of Harriet Tubman, and now in the last 2 weeks since the death of George Floyd, ironically, her business has exploded.
How's it affecting business? The funny thing about that is that, ironically, more people than I've ever had are buying books.
While the protests were largely peaceful, there were a few instances of looting. But that didn't stop Janine. She believed in her community.
Everybody's businesses are boarded up. I didn't even think to do that. I think I'm gonna be all right. So that's why I didn't even think about boarding up the, hey, and so, yeah, we here.
Inspired by the movement, Janine wanted to get her books into the hands of protesters.
I think it's the important thing to do for us to show respect, to pay homage. Free books! I know that it also has the ability to have major impact on lives if people have knowledge and information and understanding.
She traveled to Minneapolis.
I might take a financial hit by doing this, but I feel like I really want to get out to Minneapolis and get some books out to folks, and books around organizing, around like the next steps.
And Louisville.
While there's unrest, while there's unease, I want people to know that our ancestors have already laid some of the groundwork for how to do social justice work.
And the amazing part about Janine is she is a vehicle to do that. What she's not yet is a business person. More than anything, she's an educator, she's an activist, and we're gonna figure out how to make her a profitable one.
From leaving the bookshop closed days at a time to giving away books, I checked in with Janine when she got home to see how business was going.
Actually, the books that we took down to Louisville, we had to get from other local bookstores because we were completely sold out.
But then where'd you get
am I about to get in trouble?
You are going to get in trouble from this. Where'd you get the money to buy those books? You had to pay retail for them.
I did. We did. We had to. We had to, Stephanie. We had to.
Going to Louisville is important. It's important for you personally. It's important for your brand. But you have to remember, you are going to be your most impactful as the extraordinary businesswoman that you are.
Yes.
Right?
True.
I wanted to make sure Janine kept her business goals in mind.
Yep.
I know we still haven't talked about your bills and your loans, and I'm not going to make you today. Listen to me.
Okay.
Right? I need you to focus on building this business. And it's not as simple as running one location.
It feels like I'm running 3 businesses, right? It feels like I have an online business. It feels like I have a bookshop. And then it feels like I have this curbside thing.
And her sidewalk sales were a hit.
Janine right here of Harriet's Bookshop doing the daggone thing right here.
She's always growing as a businesswoman.
I also learned about how to do postage from the shop, so that's dope. That helps a whole lot, because we were standing in lines and we was like trying to hustle from post office to see which post office would let us drop off the most bags or whatever, and now it's like, bam, we could just do it from the bookshop.
And with that comes big wins.
Okay,
you do have good news for me though. Tell me about the Merchant Fund grant.
So I applied for a grant from the Merchant Fund, which we did receive for $5,000. and a grant from the Fishtown Business Development Association, which we also received, which is for $1,000. So that allows us to be able to expand the space from 500 square feet to 1,000. We get to, we're renovating our basement, and it'll make it so that we can socially distance in here.
To keep her on track, I gave her another homework assignment with some simple tips. First, show people you care. I need you to focus on building this business, okay?
Okay.
For every person who's Venmo'd you, who reached out, show those customers you care about them, you support them. You do not want them to be one-time customers who came to the store because Black Lives Matter is having a moment. We want them to be return customers. Next, keep doing Instagram Lives. Commit that you're going to do every Thursday at 5 o'clock your Instagram Live. And if you can't get an author, I want you to do it yourself.
I only did the first one. The first one was so super successful. I haven't done it again. Okay.
The first one was such a success, I decided to stop doing it. So I went on a date with a guy who was so amazing and so hot, I decided to never call him again. Let's go with the opposite. The first one was such a success, and especially if you're in Louisville, if you're in Minneapolis, do it where, that's the beauty of Instagram Live. Do it wherever you are. Next, send out emails at least once a week. You should just be sending a mass email to whoever's on the distribution. Hey, it's Monday. Here's a book I love right now, and here's how you can purchase it from me, right? And then in a few days, you can say, really good news for Harriet's Bookshop. We just got this grant. I'm so appreciative. Keep your eyes peeled. Next up, keep applying for more financial aid. Scour every possible grant that's out there, and I want you to apply for them. The answer is, let's figure out how to make them yeses. And finally, hold your business partners accountable. I want you to call your distributor and give them a little bit of hell that you didn't have books before you went to Louisville, and say, I'm helping you. Let's get this in order. If you wanted to just be shy, you could have been a librarian. Like, come on. But you didn't want to be a librarian. You are an activist, you're a leader, and you're a businesswoman. Okay?
I'm getting there.
I know you are. And we're doing it together. Janine, I am proud of you. I'm happy for you. And I know this Thursday, meaning tomorrow at 5 o'clock, I'm going to be logged in.
Okay.
And I want to see you there.
I'll be there.
All right, then I will see you tomorrow at 5. Things have been tough for businesses over the last several months. According to data from Yelp, over 97,000 businesses have shut permanently. And for those who have survived, it has been no small feat. Right now, people are looking to help small businesses. So if you run, is the moment to capitalize on that. Finding free or low-cost tools can make all the difference. Use social media and newsletters, and do your homework. Apply for every possible loan, grant, and funding that could be available. Staying true to your brand and your financial goals can help you stand out and withstand the test of this crisis. After working with Janine Cook, owner of Harriet's Bookshop in Philly, for the last 6 months, I'm going to tell you we made some serious progress in helping take this great idea from the heart and turning it into a real business with a heartbeat. Harriet's Bookshop was featured on Oprah's Book Club Instagram.
I don't do great at homework, but I'm great at the extra credit. I've been doing my lives more consistently. We've done our live with like New York Times best-selling authors now, so it's good. I'm doing what I'm doing.
She's no longer losing money on book giveaways.
I still give away some books, but those are books that are being donated to us, so that works a lot better than me buying them retail.
Putting grant money into expanding her space.
I really love renovations. I don't know other people. I know it's messy, it's loud, but it's so gratifying.
We started renovations on the basement, and once that's completely finished, we can somewhat reopen.
It's exciting that we'll be able to, have a space where we can socially distance.
I will continue to do the sidewalk sales. It's kind of, created a presence for us in the community as well.
So I jumped straight into her homework. Listen, you made a choice that you wanted to become a businesswoman, and we're going to make you one. Use Instagram to drive sales. Every week, let's pick a book and try to sell it to your followers. Do an Instagram story. You could do one every day. Here's my book of the day. Here's why I like it.
each note, legatissimo. You must get to the point.
This is a narration spoken by Jack Lieb in 1976, describing the footage he shot during Europe at the time of the invasion in 1944. For information about this film or about the tape, contact Warren Lieb, Jack Lieb Productions, 200 East Ontario Street, 14. Tape is copyrighted.
Trip to London and the House of thing that amused Dr. Abbey, Westminster, Sunday afternoon. Remember the particular subject, many strong. Most of the children who live remain behind. Out of community drinking cups that would change. Group in the center, and the captain on the right, rather the captain of our ship. Mm. This particular scene of these men going ashore was taken by an automatic camera. Aboard a British landing craft, and they were the first men to land. The reason that was taken by an automatic camera was because they wanted to have a record of what happened should the landing fail. At least they might have a record, if they were able to recover the film, of what happened and how to avoid it if they had to try another attack. But here are some scenes landing on the Utah beach, and this is the way we went ashore. This is, again, is at the British beach, but you notice the men didn't dash ashore after being aboard a landing craft for 5 solid days. They just walked slowly and cautiously, fearful of bombs and mines that were sown in the area. You notice they had their rifles wrapped in cellophane. But this is the way we had to go ashore. And I needn't tell you that a lot of the boys didn't make it. Here's one of the famous scenes taken from black and white film of 2 men being shot down right before your eyes. Here is Pete Carroll and Wes Haynes carrying our own equipment, and the ship is grounded on the beach. The section of the beach we were on was being attacked by enemy fire, and in the previous shot you could see a bomb actually land not too far from where we were. There it is again. And the bulldozers were trying to clear roads to let our jeeps and tanks move forward. And even though it was June, the area was quite cold, as it usually is in that part of Normandy. Of course, the men dug their foxholes a little deeper, and we had the good fortune of finding a concrete wall which helped serve as protection. Bath,